going for? Grappling, striking, or
minimizing? I wanted to strike more because with me being the smaller guy in the fight, I knew it was going to be faster, and I was out striking him. I hurt him a couple times in the second round with a couple of liver kicks, and it forced him to do a shitty shot, and I ended up actually catching him with a arm and guillotine shortly right after that.
So a guy that's bigger than you, is it body weight? Is it arm length, height? Like what are the biggest disadvantages to you in fighting somebody?
I would definitely say weight more than anything because I got a short reach anyways. I got a 6'7" reach and I'm 5'8". I know the average person typically their arm length is supposed to be the same as height wise they are, so I got below average reach. So I'm always been fighting people that have longer arms or they're a little bit taller than me. So that's nothing new, but the weight is what's different because in striking you can kind of get away with it. But when you start getting those grappling situations, especially if they're on top, that's a lot more extra weight that you're carrying on you. You're going to get fatigued.
Yeah, just laying on you.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
That old phrase in fighting, laying on them.
Yeah, that's what when I did jujitsu, I got tapped a few times just from the fat guys, just like.
Yeah, they just lay on you.
Just lay on me. I'm like, okay, guy.
When you get that gi on too, like it's rough.
Yeah.
Like it'll be like feels like you're drowning in it almost. Yeah. You got some fat guy on it. Yeah. It's not fun.
No, that was the way they did it though. You just go against the fat guy and they're just like, I'm just gonna submit you by just putting all my pressure on you, all my weight.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't know what I was doing either.
So what kind of stuff goes through your head when you're in there? Like what kind of doubts and like where does your mind go? Like does it take you to different places? You discover a lot about yourself. I know people tend to say that.
Yeah. So Teddy Atlas probably said it best. He talks about anytime a fighter fights, it's our opportunity to be able to make life fair. And like I had a very shitty upbringing growing up. Not to get like too involved in that at the moment. But kind of dealing with that. That's the only time where I feel like I don't have certain rules hanging over my head and everything's within my control in there. So that's my opportunity to be able to make life fair. That's really the only thing that's going through my mind is like, you know what, this is my time to be able to prove myself. That this is my opportunity to be able to make my life fair and try to make a better living for myself. But as far as if any doubts happen, the only time that will happen is if I ask myself a question leading into the fight, especially fight week. Did I do everything I possibly could do to prepare? Did I make the practice I need to be able to make? If I can say yes to that, I'm prepared. If I was eating clean, was I eating like shit? Like a lot of those type of questions, if I can say yes to, if I ate clean, I trained right, I did the right things, then my confidence is going to be an all-time high. But if any one of those questions are no, then I'm going to start imposing that self-doubt in myself of like, oh, I didn't prepare for this the way I should have. I should have done more of this. I should have done more of that. So I learned that lesson in which one was it? I think it was my my sixth professional fight. I was fighting a guy who was about a 500 record. I had some personal issues kind of going on. I was there just to train versus actually like dedicated train. I went through the motions and because if we rematch this day, I'd beat the shit out of this guy in the first round, hands down, finish him. But at the time, I just thought I was going to steamroll right through this guy. And this dude actually showed up to fucking fight. And I was winning all the rounds. And then it wasn't until the last 10 seconds of the third round, I got complacent in the third round up against the cage. And he threw an uppercut and it literally shattered my nose and pushed it all the way over to the right. I had to get it reset right after the fight. I couldn't see anything for a solid 3 minutes. Like that's how black everything was, right? Because my nose was just completely shattered. So, I tried staying on my feet the entire time right afterwards, but because I couldn't see anything, the ref stopped it, which I got pretty pissed off about because it was like, dude, 10 seconds left. Like, let me get punched a couple more times.
Yeah.
For 10 seconds, I would have won the fight. But it is what it is. But I learned my lesson of doesn't matter who you fight, you have to take everything professional as professional as you can, because even though you're determined to beat this guy, it's still a fight at the end of the day. They're still going to have a puncher's chance, and all it takes is one punch to be able to change the course of the fight.
What's the hardest you've ever been hit?
Ooh, probably to the liver.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's nothing worse than when you get hit in the liver, because you're there, but your body shuts down.
Really?
And there's nothing you can do about it.
I've heard this so many times, yeah.
Dude, I remember I was in high school, and you remember, like, I don't know if it was a thing for you guys where you always just do bodies in the bathroom, where you just fight in the bathroom, but you don't hit in the face, you just like stay to the bodies.
No.
Yeah, so you go back to class.
for me.
Yeah, you can go back to class and like continue and like duke it out, and I have to like
Yeah,
it was easy.
yeah.
Dude, I remember
It's the meridian in you.
yeah, it's just the meridian way. So dude, I never hurt. I didn't even know what a liver shot was. I don't think this guy did either, but he got me with it, and my knees just folded.
Really?
I've never. It's crazy. That was the first time I've ever felt that. I don't think a lot of people understand how debilitating that is. Like it just shuts you off. Like it's just a button.
Yeah, it's so like when you see people get punched in the head, you see them get wobbled or they get dropped and such. Like that's their brain kind of shutting off. So it was Stitch Duran told me this. So you got two little bones in your jaw that stick straight up. You got holes right above it, and then you got a nerve right above that, right? So when that jaw gets hit, it shifts over, and that bone touches that nerve, and that's when the lights go out, or that's whatever when you get rocked. But you don't know what happened. That's why all the time you see fighters that are so like asking the corner, like, or the ref, like, "Hey, what happened? What happened?" They don't know.
Or I'm fine. I'm fine. What do you mean?
Yeah,
I'm good.
yeah.
Like yeah.
But when you get hit in the liver, it's totally different. You see, you feel everything in your body just folds and shuts down.
Crazy.
It's terrible.